Again, was I happy that he was platforming people who were spewing anti-Israel and anti-Semitic messages? Of course not. But when so many people in the Jewish community and the pro-Israel community were criticizing Charlie so harshly for platforming these problematic voices, he was very hurt. And he was hurt because what many people don't realize is that Charlie spent a lot of his time defending Israel.
So this is a story that just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. So the New York Post had the exclusive on this a couple days ago. Charlie Kirk and Rabbi Pal talked hours before his death. He was in a combative mood. Okay, so you won't find a more pro-Israel rag than the New York Post, and even they cannot resist the sort of clickbait headline, because obviously combative has a sort of negative connotation. But as you'll see, as the article goes on, combative meaning Charlie Kirk was ready to go out and defend Israel at this talk, amid tensions in the background, of course, as have been reported pretty extensively by multiple people, most recently Candace Owens, whose episode just dropped. They just saw a tweet come across, which corroborates something later in the story. Just a little teaser for you all. Charlie Kirk was in high spirits and in a combative mood just before kicking off his American comeback tour at Utah Valley University, said a rabbi friend who spoke to him for an hour the night before his death. Rabbi Pesach Woznica, an American-born cleric who lives in Israel, met with Kirk via Zoom on Tuesday night. He was excited to get back out on the campus tour, said Woznica, who said he often spoke to Kirk before public appearances to advise him on how to defend Israel effectively. Hours before the firebrand was assassinated in Utah, the two met online to prepare for the, quote, smears against Israel he would inevitably face during his tour of college campuses. He was working out talking points, playing the role of devil's advocate, pushing us on these issues, trying to sharpen the iron, said Woznica, who specializes in Jewish-Christian relations. He was in a combative mood, recalled the rabbi, which is good. He was preparing for debates and attacks. Charlie stood alone to a great extent in that whole Gen Z conservative world as far as being pro-Israel, the rabbi said, and his life would have been a whole lot easier if he wasn't. Okay, I'm not going to say anything. There were prominent people actively working to get him to drop his support for Israel on a daily basis, and he resisted. So here is from Owen Schroyer, the Israeli rabbi, who met with Charlie Kirk just before his assassination, speaks about the pressure Kirk was under to stay positive on Israel and not platform any voices against Israel at his events.
Criticisms for the state of Israel. He was very supportive and really loved the state of Israel and the Jewish people, but he also had his criticisms. And it really hurt him when the Jewish community came down on him for platforming certain speakers at his last conference who were anti-Israel and even slid into anti-Semitism. And while I was not happy that Charlie had given the stage to people like Tucker Carlson who were spewing venom about the Jewish state, I understood where Charlie was coming from. Charlie was a big believer in the open marketplace of ideas, in allowing all opinions to be heard, letting the best opinions win. That's why he built his career on those famous debates, going to college campuses to engage in honest dialogue, letting every opinion have its moment and letting people decide what is true. And therefore, he really believed, to a fault, I believe, in allowing every single voice to be heard. Now, again, was I happy?
Believe to a fault, in allowing every single voice to be heard.
Happy that he was platforming people who were spewing every single voice to be heard. Now, again, was I happy that he was platforming people who were spewing anti-Israel and anti-Semitic messages? Of course not. But when so many people in the Jewish community and the pro-Israel community were criticizing Charlie so harshly for platforming these problematic voices, he was very hurt. And he was hurt because what many people don't realize is that Charlie spent a lot of his time defending Israel, both publicly at the college campus events that he was so famous for. Many people don't realize that upwards of 40 or 50% of all of the questions Charlie would receive, the challenges that he would get at these campus events from students, were attacking Israel and attacking Charlie for being so pro-Israel. And also privately, there were many other prominent people in the America First movement who would privately speak to Charlie and message him, trying to get him to drop his support for Israel. So he was out there defending Israel on a regular basis, even with all his criticisms. It really hurt him when there was this harsh criticism calling him all kinds of names because he was willing to platform voices the pro-Israel community or the Jewish community were uncomfortable with.
Wow. That's quite the video. To be clear, I'm not trying to implicate this man in anything. I'm just saying that he is explaining the pressure that Charlie Kirk was under. Obviously, being pulled in two different directions, explains how it was weighing on him, explains how this guy here doesn't like that he had such anti-Israel firebrands like Tucker Carlson at Turning Points USA.
Come see me on tour in Louisville, Fort Wayne, Hermosa Beach, Sacramento, San Francisco. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. Hey, RFK Jr. is making reforms to organ donation policy, and for shocking reasons. You guys have seen this horrifying story about people's organs being harvested while they're still showing signs of life as their family begs for them to stop the surgery. Click the video on the screen to watch.